Growth is supposed to make things better, more revenue, more people, more opportunity. But for a lot of business owners and leaders, growth does the opposite, especially inside fast-moving business leadership environments. Leadership feels heavier. Decisions pile up. Your team needs you more, not less. If your business is growing, but leadership feels harder than it did before, this episode is for you. Welcome to the High Impact Leader Podcast, a leadership podcast for business owners and leaders who want self-managing teams, stronger accountability, and scalable performance without carrying everything themselves. If you're ready to focus on leadership design, not just effort, you're in the right place. G'day, I'm Brendan Rogers. So let's get back to that idea. Growth is supposed to make things better. But for many of us, it does the opposite. And let me explain what's really happening. Here's what I see all the time with business owners. You started your business because you had expertise. You had a skill. You had a vision. And that business grew, maybe faster than you expected. Revenue came in. You hired your first team member, then another. Suddenly, you're not just doing the work, you're responsible for people. And here's the thing about growth. It doesn't wait until you're ready. You might have mastered your craft. You might be brilliant at delivering your service, but nobody teaches you this part. The part where your business grows beyond your ability to lead it. And the frustrating thing is, the more successful you become, the heavier it gets. And that brings us to what this actually looks like in practice. So how does this show up day to day? Well, let me paint a picture of what this actually looks like. It's Tuesday morning. You wake up already behind. 37 unread messages overnight. 2 team members have questions only you can answer. Your calendar's blocked with meetings that could have been emails. You're making decisions on the fly. Who to hire, what to prioritise, how to handle a customer complaint that could cost you the account. You're everywhere but present. Your best people, the ones you invested months training, are waiting for clarity you're too busy to give. They start making decisions without you, then face the consequences. Your clients are wondering why responses take days instead of hours. Your family wonders why you're working weekends again. And the irony? You built this business to have more freedom. Instead, you've never been more trapped. Sound familiar? But why does this keep happening? Well, let me break it down. Why does this keep happening? Why do so many successful leaders feel like they're drowning in their own success? There's 3 reasons. First, we equate growth with success. More revenue, more team members, more locations. We keep pushing for bigger without asking whether we built the foundation to support it. We celebrate revenue milestones, but ignore the leadership debt accumulating behind them. Second, we resist what got us here. We hide ourselves because we were the best at the work. The work is our identity. But now we need to lead, and leading feels like abandoning the work we love, like betraying the skill that made us successful. Third, there's no roadmap. Your industry taught you how to deliver your service. Your MBA taught you strategy, but nobody taught you how to build a leadership system that scales with your business. How to go from leading 3 people to leading 30. The business grows, the leadership stays the same, and that's the gap. That's what creates the friction, and that friction has a cost. So let me be direct about what this actually costs. You're losing your best people. I watched a new client lose their top performer last month. 4 years of investment, gone in a 2-week notice period. Top performers don't leave because of money. They leave because they can't grow. They leave because they're not led. They leave because you're too busy to develop them. You're losing your health, the constant firefighting, the Sunday scaries, the endless to-do list that never gets shorter. That tightness in your chest, your body keeps score. You're losing your business's potential. A team that isn't aligned is a team that doesn't execute. Every day you spend putting out fires is a day you're not building something sustainable. You're surviving instead of scaling. You're losing your family, not just time, but presence. When you're physically home, but mentally, you're still replying to Slack messages. They feel it. They know. But here's what I've learned after working with hundreds of leaders. What if I told you this isn't a problem to solve? It's a transition to make. Growing pains aren't signs you're doing something wrong. They're signs you're doing something right. Your business is telling you it's ready to level up. The question is, are you ready to level up with it? Here's what high-impact leaders do differently. They design clarity. Rather than waiting for clarity to emerge from the chaos, they intentionally define what's important, what's not, and who decides what. They create crystal clear decision rights so their team can move without waiting. They build ownership. They don't carry the weight alone. They install ownership at every level, giving their team permission to own decisions, to fail, to learn, and to grow. They're not protecting their team from responsibility, they're inviting it. They install rhythm. High-impact leaders don't run on adrenaline. They build sustainable rhythms. Daily stand-ups, weekly reviews, monthly planning, so the team moves together, not in chaos. And they lead through design, not pressure. They don't push harder. They redesign clarity, ownership, and rhythm, so that performance doesn't rely on them being in the middle of everything. And that's the shift from doing the work yourself to designing the leadership system that allows your team to do the work without you needing to be everywhere. That's what high-impact leaders do differently. So I want you to ask yourself this. What if the bottleneck isn't your team? What if it isn't your market, your product, or your marketing? What if the one thing holding your business back is the leadership version of you from 6 months ago, and you're still trying to solve today's problems with yesterday's skills? This isn't about working harder. It's about designing a leadership practice that matches the ambition of your business. Now, if this resonates with you, here's what I want to offer. If you're recognizing this leadership pattern in your business right now, here's what I want you to understand. This isn't a team problem. It's not a motivation problem, and it's not a capability problem. It's a leadership design problem. And leadership design problems have leadership design solutions. Because when leadership is designed for a smaller business, but operating at a higher level, ownership and accountability don't happen. Team engagement drops, and team performance becomes inconsistent. If you want help unpacking this properly and reducing your leadership load so you can build self-managing teams with stronger accountability, higher team engagement, and more consistent team performance, this is exactly what we work through inside the High Impact Leader Club. It's where business owners and leaders build scalable leadership through structure and not through pressure. Inside, we unpack leadership patterns, create leadership clarity, improve decision-making, and install a leadership rhythm that supports real ownership across your team. If that's the shift you're ready to make, go to leaderbydesign.au/club and take a look. So here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. Your business grew. Your leadership didn't. And that's not a failure, it's a signal. The gap between how your business operates and how you lead is where the friction lives. And that friction shows up as overwhelm, as team members waiting on you, as decisions that should be made by others still landing on your desk. But here's the thing. This isn't about working harder or pushing your team harder. It's about redesigning how you lead so that your leadership matches the ambition of your business. High-impact leaders don't carry more. They design better. If this resonated, share it with another business leader who's feeling the weight of growth, but can't figure out why leadership feels harder the more successful they become. And remember, design your leadership, build your team, lead with impact.